Alright everyone, so as you know we're going to have Liam McCracken on, who is making his pro debut at Almighty this coming Saturday, so I'm just going to try to get him in now. See if he joins or see if it messes up with him. Just keeps messing up. Okay, bear with me. And you're not able to join. Just give me a minute. Try again.
Hello.
Oh, there you are.
What's going on, mate?
Not too bad. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good. Fucking bit tired now, like coming towards the back end of camp, like, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on, mate. It's a pleasure to be able to speak to you. So let's jump right into it then. So obviously you last fought almost a year ago. With that time off, what's been the focus and how happy are you to finally get back in there?
Well, it's been, I think, by the time I fight, it'll be like 23 months, I think, so just under 2 years.
Ah, right.
It's actually been longer than that. It's been a long time now. So I just feel I've obviously whilst I've been away, it's not like I took time away from training or nothing like that. I think I've done about 3 fight camps in between being off. Obviously with like COVID and shit like that, I've had fights pulled. I got sick as well, leading up to my last amateur fight, and yeah, so I did get. I have been training still, but obviously it's been tough without having a fight. But at the same time, I'm glad it's happened because in the 2 years off I've matured a lot.
Yeah.
So I reckon that's definitely going to show come the night. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. So Quinny, my mate who we do the podcast with,
Yeah.
he said your nickname should be Released the Liam
I've had
Released
that
the
one before,
McCracken.
when I
Have
used
you?
to train at another gym back in the day when I was about 12, and a few people wanted me to have that. But
What, Released the?
yeah, it's not stuck yet. That.
No, yeah. I've watched a few of your fights, and like the word that comes to me is like cool, like Liam Cool McCracken, because you're very relaxed in your approach to fighting, even in moments where like there might be moments where other fighters might rush. You tend to stay relaxed and composed, and so cool come to mind for your
Yeah.
nickname.
One of my mates in here now, Reedy, I reckon he'll have something to say. He's probably got a nickname for me. He's in there now. I can see him.
I'd like to hear a nickname. What is it?
Let's hear it, Reedy. But yeah, I'm not. I don't think cool will stick either. Like, but I'm happy with that one.
Also, for this camp, then obviously with it being your pro debut, have you changed anything with that?
Yeah, I've had a longer camp. When I was fighting amateur, I used to do about 8 weeks. This I've had, I think, about 13 weeks already. So by the time I fight, it'll be about a 14-week camp, I think. So definitely a longer camp. Part of that though was to do with my weight because I've been off for so long. My weight went I did go fucking a bit fat, to be honest. So I needed a lot more time to get my weight down. But I've had a nutritionist and things like that as well. So just little things like that, taking it more seriously. Another big one is like just being more disciplined. When I used to fight amateur, like I look back now at half my fights and just think, wow, fucking, I don't think I deserve to win half of them just because I have things like going out and just immature stuff you do when you're a little bit younger. But I've changed a lot since then, so more sensible. I've not been out once. I've not had a bevy in once as well, so I've swerved that. That's been a big thing. So just little things like that, to be honest. But the training, I always used to train hard, but I have stepped it up a little bit this time.
Yeah. Listen, Reedy's giving you shit in this chat, you know.
Nah, listen, I knew he would. I was expecting it, don't worry.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant, mate. So, you mentioned you put on a bit of weight. I did want to ask, in one of your recent Insta posts, you mentioned about lung issues. If you don't mind me asking, what were those issues and what did you have to do to overcome them?
Yeah, this was a mad one. So I was meant to be fighting Teddy Stringer, and this fight I think it had been cancelled about twice with COVID and things like that. So I was fighting him in July. About like 5 weeks out from the fight, I started getting like I had a proper bad chest. I don't know if it was like a chest infection or pneumonia or something like that, but I didn't find out what it was, and I just carried on training through it. And then I got to about 3 weeks out, and then like I just started getting worse. At one point, I was coughing up blood, and I went to the hospital. Obviously, everyone around me was telling me to go and get looked at. I went to the hospital, and they kind of just turned me back. They told me I had something wrong with one of my ribs. So I was like, oh, that's fine. Fucking, I'll carry on training. So I cracked on training with that. Ended up getting worse again. And then it was about a week and a half out from my fight. Everyone was saying, like, oh, you don't look good here, you know, like, even though I was getting my weight down, I was fighting upper weight, so I looked like I'd done a weight cut. Everyone was saying, like, you look ill. I went lost all my colour and all that, like, I had, like, jaundice. So I was like, fucking, what do I do then? So Phil and the woman who does my massages, Sarah, both said, just ring your doctors and ask for some bloods. So I went and got some bloods done, and then I was getting a massage about, like, a week out from my fight, and whilst I was getting it, I got a phone call. I got me bloods done that morning, and like an hour later they belled me back saying you have to come in straight away. So I went in, had to get some more tests done, and then I ended up having to stay in the hospital for like about 2 weeks after that. It's called an empyema or something like that. It's basically like you can get it after things like pneumonia. So I think they didn't do any tests on like it's like basically infected fluid on your lungs. Makes your lung like stick together so your lung can't expand. Sort of like a collapsed lung really. So I ended up with that, and then that put me out for a while. After that, I couldn't train for about 10 weeks, which is the longest time I've ever had off training. So that was quite a big setback. I was in hospital for 2 weeks, and then even after that, I was on antibiotics for like, I think it was like 6 or 8 weeks. So that was a bit of a nightmare coming back from that, but yeah, it's done now. So I'm over that.
Yeah, what the hell. If I saw myself coughing up blood, like I'd be saying, no, it's not just a fucking broken rib, but this is something else. Like,
nah, that's what I went to the hospital. I think it was once or twice, and the shit, auntie. I got it. I needed to get like an X-ray or something like that, or a CT scan, I think it was, but they wouldn't give me it. They were just like, because what I get, you don't really get at my age. It's quite a rare thing, especially if you're like fit and healthy. But they turned me back twice, and then when I went the third time, I got my bloods done. There was no denying it then, like, but I still wanted to fight. I was doing because I was doing everything I could whilst I even had that, trained for 4 weeks with it, do you know what I mean?
I know it.
It was a tough one to take, but like I said, everything works out, everything happens for a reason, doesn't it? Because I've obviously got my pro debut coming up now, once a bigger thing, so yeah, I'm ready for it now.
Definitely, mate. I mean, you'd think they'd do the bloods first off and then go from there rather than saying, oh, you're young, you haven't got anything.
It was annoying looking back, like a few people weren't happy about it, but like I said,
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Thanks for speaking about that, mate. So let's talk a bit about the debut then. Obviously, you've had a change of opponent. You now have Kai Holmes, who is 10-5 in his
it's changed again, you know.
Is it Kai Holmes now?
He pulled out a few days after I got matched with him, yeah. So I've got some French guy now. I don't know too much about him. He's 0-1 as a pro, but I think he was 6-1 as an amateur, which is a decent record. and he had a Cage Warriors Academy belt as well. So he's not like a bum or not, and he's a proper fight. All his fights have been at lightweight and welterweight as well, so he does look quite big. But I'm fighting at 68 kg now instead, so I'm doing a catch weight. But like I said, it's a fight in, and I've been off for too long, so
you just want to get back in there.
But looking forward to that Kai Holmes fight. That was a good fight. He had a good name, but he got matched with him, and literally about 3 days later he pulled out, said COVID. But
yeah, well, at least you've still got your opponent, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm signed with it because I've got a fight. I've got 2 fights now anyway. But
yeah. I think that. So I'm going to go on to that second fight in a minute, but like I don't know if this is meant. So you fought at Almighty FC1, making your pro debut at 22. Was that meant for you to have your pro debut on Almighty, or it's kind of out?
I think Almighty is one of the best shows at the minute. Like, he's getting a lot of recognition. Ray's smashing it, to be fair, and he looks after the fighters. But so did you say I fought? Did I fight on Almighty 1?
Yeah, it was against
I remember fighting Zach on it, but I didn't know that was the first one. It's mad that.
Yeah, mad, isn't it? You've kind of the next question was going to ask, like, how far do you think Almighty will go, but you've kind of spoke of it. Ray's doing brilliant with it. It's gonna be a big organisation.
Can you hear me? That went off a sec then.
Yeah, you hear me all right?
Yeah, it's back on now. Ray's smashing it. I think the reason he's doing so well is because he does look after the fighters. He pays well. He's got things like bonuses and stuff like that for amateurs, which no one else really does. Team of the night, he puts a lot of money into it, so that's all going to pay off. He's getting more big pros as well on the show, so that's definitely a show I'm looking to grow with for like my first maybe 3-4 fights, and then see where to go from there. But Almighty is defo on the way up. Them and UKFC, I think, are the 2 best shows in this country, so either of them. And then the show I'm fighting on, my second pro fight, that's a new show, but I'm hearing good things about that as well. So it's nice to have a few different shows that you can fight on. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what you need, a bit of competition between them. But yeah,
definitely. We had Gavin Hughes on, who's behind the one that you're on the Kingdom Combat Championship. He spoke about there not being many in Liverpool. Like, you've got Almighty, but he said, like, with the amount of talent that's in Liverpool, you need a show in the city. How did that come about? Did they approach you? Did you?
Yeah, well, they come to our gym a few weeks ago to do some filming, and obviously with me already being matched, I weren't like looking for anything, but I want to make up for lost time. I've been out for 2 years, and then when they said the date, I was like, I think it's 6 weeks after my first fight. I was thinking, you know what, if I'll be fit anyway, my weight's going to be low. He said he'd be able to get me a match, which is something that I do struggle with. That was one of the reasons why I went pro. Towards the back end of my last amateur fight, I was struggling to get proper fights. And then obviously with this pro debut, I've had 3 changes of opponents already. So anytime I get offered a fight on a proper show, I've got to jump at it.
Oh, it looks like people don't want to fight the McCracken.
Nah, to be honest, not many people do, but hopefully that changes once I start getting a little bit, because you can't blame some people, to be honest, especially like I want to fight real fights against. I've asked for like people who were like 4-1 and that for me debut and things like that, and you can't blame them not wanting to fight me because they don't get much out of it. With me being a debut, it doesn't look like anything really to them. But then it's like a lose-lose. You either get beat by a debut or you win, and it looks like you've only beat a debut. So you can't blame them. But hopefully, like I said, towards the back end of the year, I am looking to have some like big pro fights. But we'll see. Just take it one fight at a time.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And so if you were to look back at your amateur career, then what fight do you think taught you the most lessons?
So that's a hard one, because I did have quite a few like good amateur fights. A lot of them have aged well as well. So like I fought people a while back, people like Curtis and that. Like back then, it might not have been a big massive fight, but like I said, I fought Zach Fry, my first amateur fight. Things like that. They're people who've gone on to do big things themselves. So but the one I probably learned the most from. I don't know. I'd probably have to say one that I got beaten, because you do obviously learn a lot more when you get beat. It gives you the kick up the arse. I went over to Bahrain and fought him. I went out in the first round in the IMAS, but I did fight some kid. He was a Czech kid.
Yeah.
He was like 15-3, something like that. He got silver at the IMAS before. And I thought I won the fight. It was a split decision, but because the decision didn't go my way, it does make you have to like sit back and take a look at yourself and change a few things up.
Yeah.
That was that I did learn quite a lot from that fight. That or I didn't, to be honest, every single fight that I've had has been a proper fight. So there's been things where I've took different things away from all of them. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, bear with me because these two love to mess up these little interviews. Y'all, come on out. What? Come on out, lads. Yeah, I'll sort that for you now. Sorry, mate. Bear with me. Come on. Come on. Hold on to me. I want to do it. Come on. Daddy's doing something. Daddy's doing something. Come on.
Yes, really.
Hold on to me. Oh, sorry, mate. I'm like that bloody news reporter on that thing a couple of years ago where the baby's coming. Always coming when I'm doing stuff like this. Yeah, no. Sorry about that. So, obviously at UKFC, you had a little history with George Staines. You know, you were gonna fight with him. It's like a two-part question. So one, why wasn't that fight made?
Yeah.
And two, when he turns pro, is he someone you will seek out to fight?
Yeah. Well, the answer to the first bit, I was looking for the fight for quite a while, and then I think the first time we got matched, I think the show got cancelled with COVID, and then the second time I was meant to be fighting Teddy, and then a few weeks after I was fighting George when I got sick. So the second time I couldn't fight him because of my illness, and then with the setback of like being off and things like that, my coach just said that he thought it was a good time for me to take some time off to go pro. But the answer to your second bit is yeah, definitely. I did mention that to Ray anyway. I said if he does turn over, I'll fight him. So
Yeah,
that defo. There's no like beef or nothing with him. I just think he's a good fight, and that's what I want. I want to be fighting. He's got a big name now. I think a lot of people in the UK think he's the best. So I want to show people that I'm the best. But yeah, if he does turn over, then I will look for that fight definitely. But it's whether he wants it. It's whether like I'm going into pro with the mentality that I had an amateur where I'll fight anyone. A lot of people do try and pick fights at pro, which I don't agree with. Like, but I understand why people do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what I mean. Yeah, I just had Reedy saying he stained his undies.
Listen, Reedy's a shit house.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean with pro, obviously now, because like amateurs sort of experience, and then pro, that's your career then, so you might get people that are more careful, but as you say, like it's good to have that mentality of still fighting anyone, anywhere, anytime. You know?
Yeah, the way I look at it is, if I want to do it properly, the sport, I want to go all the way. Like I don't want to just get to like an 8-0 record and swerve it. Like I'm in it for the long run. So if I'm not good enough, I'd rather find out now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, rather than like get a false sense of security, just beating bums and beating people that are there to get beat. I'd rather fight like a proper fighter, get beat, and find out that I've got work to do. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're doing it properly and you are in it for the long run, you're gonna have to fight these people at some point. So I'd rather get them lessons out the way now. If I'm not good enough, I'd rather find out than just handpick fights. But a lot of people don't have that mentality.
Yeah, no, I think that's a brilliant mentality. You know, fight the hardest fights at the start, whatever way you go. You know, you're going to take lessons from it, aren't you, and improve overall. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I think that's a brilliant mentality to have, mate. So next one then. Some people might say you're awkward or funny because you are right-handed and left-footed. Is that right?
Yeah, right
Yeah,
handed it.
like me, I have that. So when you first started in the sport, did you try and like fix that? Like try and have your left at the back so you're kicking from the back, or
I reckon it works better off your front leg.
mm,
People don't expect it as much. Like most people can only kick off the front leg if they do a switch, but that's like something you can read. It's like a tell. So if you
yeah,
can kick off your lead leg, there's less power, but if you're kicking someone in the head, it doesn't need loads of power behind it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Anyway, but yeah, it suits me style. I used to get a little bit too happy with it though. Like if you watch me first few fights, I was just throwing like so many left kicks. Like I literally lost one of my fights because of it. Like I come out and I was literally just blasting left kicks and I got took down off it every round. That was my first. In fact, that was my second loss that. But like I said, they're just little things you learn in amateur. I kick a lot
yeah,
less now as well. I've been doing a
yeah.
lot of boxing, so I've toned down on the kicking.
You find you use that now more as the surprise that you said it is, rather than
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to it.
Just with working with more boxing coaches, I just think it suits my style better to be like more boxing heavy than like standing on the outside and kicking. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But that's just something I've learned through years of training and finding my own style.
yeah. I think with that as well, like doing the boxing, you can get in a range that many people might not be comfortable with. I think in MMA, people
Yeah,
like to have that
that
sort
is one
of
of the main things. Like it's easy to fight on the outside and like be safe and kick. And I did, looking back at my amateur career, that's how I used to fight a lot of the time. And then it'd be from that range to just grappling. Whereas now I'm a lot more comfortable on the in-between bit, and I'm looking forward to showing that. I think a lot of people get a surprise. Like, I've been off for 2 years, and a lot of that 2 years I've been working on my striking. So people that have
yeah.
sparred me and things like that will tell you as well how much I've improved on the feet.
Do you find with having that approach, it then improves your wrestling because you're closer for the takedown rather than shooting from the outside?
Yeah, I used to feel like, not desperate, but I was more comfortable grappling than I was striking. Whereas now,
Yeah,
like, because I'm more confident on the feet, I'm not rushing my takedowns. I can time them better because I'm confident that if I do miss the takedown, I'm sound. Rather than thinking like I need to get this fight down. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
That's
definitely,
the difference. Like,
definitely. So next one then, some like quick fire questions for like four of them.
yeah,
So the first one is, do you prefer the hot weather or the cold weather?
cold weather. I'm a Christmas man. Love
Cold
Christmas.
weather, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
if
they
you would
have
have
to
done this a
warm.
few weeks ago, I had my room like a fucking grotto. I'm a proper gimp for Christmas. Like,
Be able to warm yourself up better than cool yourself down as well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's easier, innit?
So in terms of watching for enjoyment, football or MMA?
MMA. I'm not a big footy man. Nah, I'm not into.
No.
Nah.
I only asked that because obviously being from Liverpool, football's a big thing in the city.
Yeah,
So
I support Liverpool, like, but I'm not asked. If they win something, I'll blag them a fan for a little bit during the celebrations. But nah, I'm not too fussed on the footy. Like,
you do what I used to do years ago, but I done it with Everton. That was just fucking that never worked out because you don't win football, do they? So I mean, so next one is, what's something that you would change about yourself?
I know Reedy's gonna say something here. You know, I'm waiting for it. I don't know. You know,
Is
I don't know. I'm
the
trying to think of something I can say without getting said for it.
Say it? You'll punch Sterling. It's all right. Come
He reckons it good. But,
on.
well, I've gone about Prescott anyway. I'm from Prescott, so yeah, maybe that fucking been getting called a wool all my life in the gym. So yeah,
So what, you would not be from Prescott?
yeah, maybe that.
Oh, I thought you were going to go something like, oh, I'd like to be more patient or maybe improve any confidence down lacking, but nah, I'd
Anyway,
rather
about
be from
Prescott.
Prescott. To be honest. Last one then. What scares you? Don't say Prescott.
Nah, underperforming. That's like my last amateur fight. I won. I think it was like one of the maddest scorecards ever. Every round got scored at 10-8. It was a 50-40. But I just proper win. I wanted to finish the fella. And like that would hurt me more than any of my losses. because I did know, I knew I underperformed big time, and I was fucking bad for weeks. I would cry my eyes out like a little girl in the back. So that's probably my biggest fear. That's always my biggest fear going into a fight as well. Not showing up and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It eats away here as well to your next fight. So if I do, and like I've had to fucking live with my last performance for 2 years because I've been off for that long. Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to for that. But yeah, probably underperforming.
Is that because you know what you're capable of as well?
Just laughing at his comment there, me coming to his front door getting that thought on. Yeah, I think a lot of I have people expect good things from me as well. I'm one of like the coaches in the gym. Everyone in the gym sees what I can do, so they're coming to my fights expecting something good. Do you know what I mean? So that is another added pressure, especially when I'm coaching. Like I coach some of the best kids out there. Do you know what I mean? So people are looking at them going, "Oh, he's their coach." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Promoting them look shit, so they're just little added pressures. Do you know what I mean?
Do you find with that sort of say if you do underperform, there's always room for improvement as well? You can like look and where did I underperform? Okay,
yeah. There's not been many fights where after I've been like perfect. Obviously at the moment, in the moments, as soon as you fight, you're made up. As long as you get the win, but it's more when you look back at it and watch that you pick at the little things and that annoys you. But I'm still yet to have a performance where I can look back and be like, yeah, I'm not sit there watch it happily, but hopefully this next one.
Yeah, and how old you're like 20, aren't you? Or
21 in the summer.
Yeah. You got any exactly? Yeah, got a very long time in the sport, mate. You got any plans for that birthday with it being the big one?
Well, it's the 9th of July, my birthday, and I think Almighty have got a show the week before. So fight the week before it, then do something big for me 21st.
Yeah. Well, won't give away anything, but have a big birthday.
I'm looking forward to it. I've not had a bevy since like August now, and I used to love going out, but I'm saving it now, so I won't be able to have a bevy till March, and then I'll give myself a little few weeks off after that, and then straight back into camp for July, and then I'll have a messy one in July. Like look forward to that.
Yeah, been a while since you had the bevy. You'll have like 3 and you'll be out.
I know. Anyway.
That's brilliant. Last question then, mate. So, you sort of alluded to it earlier, but what sort of activity are you looking for this year with now turning?
Yeah, I've got like a clear set goal for this year. I've got this and then March, so I'll go 2-0 there, 3-0 in July in the summer. I want to get like quite a good opponent for that as well. The kid I'm fighting in my second fight as well, that's a big fight there. He's a very good opponent, so get that win. Get another opponent sort of similar level to that, maybe like a little 4-0, someone like that. And then I think after July I'm going to take a little bit of time off and aim for December then.
Yeah.
I'll fight December and then that'll be 4-0 for the end of the year. So that's me. That's like a clear set goal that I've got. So aim to keep working towards that. But then if I repeat that the year after, I'll be 8-0 as a pro then. Do you know what I mean? And then you're looking at people like Ian Gary and people like that. They're in the UFC now off a record like that. So I'm ready to just get my head down now and crack on.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't want to mention too much about the second fight because you strike me as a person that doesn't look past opponents regardless of who they are. So didn't want to jump too much into that second fight, but it's a good opponent for you as well. Yeah,
he's very good. I'm looking forward to that. He's not being too active. He's been a pro for about 4 or 5 years, but he's just not being very active. But he's beat like some big names and that already himself. So that is a big fight there. But like I said, I'll worry about that once this first one's out the way. Get this one done and then focus straight back onto that.
Yeah, definitely, mate. No, that was brilliant, Liam. Thank you for coming on and speaking to us.
Get me back on after this fight anyway, and we'll talk more on that second kid. That'll be a good fight there.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It was nice to meet you as well, lad.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Thank you for that.
No worries. You take it easy, mate.
All right, I'll see you later, mate. Ta-ra.
Yeah.